Take one. Take two, actually.
Do you have a story?
Yeah, it's basically a funny story.
Oh, funny memories and funny stories.
There are many favorite Vacation Bible School stories.
Probably my favorite memory of this church was whenever we got to punk Kent Allen.
I will never forget the time that policemen came down the aisles and made us stop
You
worship.
can't know Sharon Ackerman without knowing a lot of funny stories.
Made him think that he was dealing with a crazy psychopath with a dead bird in a box.
Because they said there was a huge storm coming.
When we first came to Memorial Road, Philip cried every day, not cried a little bit, but cried hard. One of the favorite ones is about the triumphal entry of Jesus. My big job in this one was to find a live donkey.
We all are getting out of the building just in time to see this hail, busting windshields. It was just crazy. We couldn't go. We could just watch it destroy our cars.
It went beautifully. I was standing by with a bucket and a scooper and watching and trying to be sure everything was going to go all right. And up and down we went through the aisles with all the children and back singing with their palm leaves and with James Waugh smiling bravely on the donkey. And we got outside and the donkey unloaded and everything was fine.
It was also kind of fun occasionally to see something go wrong with the audio-visual presentation. And be able to watch Kent sitting on the front row turn and stare down the individuals who were in the sound and visual booth.
I think it was Mark Taylor when he was here, made the comment, do you own or drive a car so that others recognize you? And Will, without even blinking from his Cheerios, said, no!
And then one time Kent was getting kind of fired up in a sermon over in the old auditorium, as he can do. And I remember he made a point and he gestured in a big just crack of lightning, thunder, and just lit up the whole place. It was terrible. I mean, it was an evening worship, and so it kind of lit up everything. And I remember that Kent just took that as, God was reinforcing his point. And so I think Kent's head grew 10 sizes that day.
We had a singing service to start, I think it started about 4:45 before church started at 5 o'clock. And James Waugh was leading the songs, and it was probably about, maybe 10 till 5. As we were singing, a lady comes running down one of the side aisles, and she is sopping wet. And she had nylon hose on, and they were all ripped. And as she ran all the way down the aisle, she came to the front, and she just laid herself out on those front steps. And all the while, James Waugh was up there leading singing, and he never missed a beat. He just kept leading singing with this lady sprawled out in front of him on the steps of the auditorium.
Howard Norton was preaching. He had just really preached a great sermon and ended it with a strong plea for the invitation, and everyone stood and sang. And about that time, one of our members kind of woke up and headed down the aisle, and Howard went down the aisle to meet him, and as he met him, the person told Howard he was just coming down to lead the closing prayer. Of course, that was a surprise to Howard and all the rest of us.
There was a young man who wanted to get baptized. He was in college, and he was really, really tall. And so we got up there, and I said the words, and we started going back, but I didn't realize how tall he was. And so when we went back, I accidentally slammed his head against the side of the baptistry because he was so tall. And so it was just this big, like this really loud thunk, and it was his head. And so I was like, well, we still got to go under. And so I kind of slid his head down the baptistry wall and got him under, and then pulled him back up. So it wasn't my best baptism.
Malcolm Hinckley was an elder here for years, and everybody has a Malcolm story.
I remember hearing stories of Malcolm Hinckley, who would be out mowing his lawn in a pair of slacks, no doubt, but he would be pushing the mower along while sweet Alice would be walking alongside him, hand-feeding him a sandwich as he mowed the lawn.
After a while, the good Lord was just looking after Malcolm. That's all you can say, because he couldn't drive.
Malcolm would come in, use the restroom, not even consider if anybody else was in there or not, walk out and turn the lights off on his way out. Thank you, Malcolm. That's a great memory.